right, hello everyone. Thanks for listening in. This is the first episode of Checking In on Your Daily Walk. In this show, I plan to chat to members of the church and see how they're doing. We'll be hearing personal testimonies of how God has affected lives and get to know each other a little better. Today, I'll be checking in on someone who has known me for 2 decades, the one, the only, Sean Gota.
Imaginary applause.
Woo! So exciting, that anti-climax. So, Sean, how have you been coping with the lockdown?
So personally, it's been okay. I know a lot of people are finding it really hard, but I'm furloughed, so I'm not working. But I am still theoretically going to get paid. And I'm helping out with the church live streams, with song words and transitions and other technical things. And I'm just enjoying TV and video games and books, and I'd like to hang out with people like you and family and stuff, but I know this won't last forever, so I'm just taking a day at a time sort of thing. The thing that I don't like the most is seeing people I know on Twitter and Facebook and things who aren't Christians, and like how absolutely scared, like terrified they are. And that's sad, and it makes me sad.
So do you feel like knowing God, like you feel a bit more secure in this environment that we're kind of living in at the moment then?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from like the fear of death and stuff, and obviously we know there's eternity waiting for us and for anyone we know who are Christians, and so it's a very different. Yeah, there's probably a lot of little things, but like just knowing God's in control and stuff will really help.
Oh, so have you done anything different in regards to like your relationship in God then, with God during this time?
So I started reading Soul Fuel by Bear Grylls. It's a daily devotional book. Bear Grylls, who people may know as the survivalist. And I don't do it the way you're theoretically supposed to do it. I don't read one thing a day. I read several a day.
As you would.
Yeah, it's just how I do things. I can't read one little bit and then pray about it for ages. I gotta read a whole bunch and be like, yes, that's all very, very good, very interesting and stuff.
So have any like particular bits like jumped out at you then from that?
Yes, so the one I read the other day was interesting because it mentioned a verse, which I've been playing this video game, and there's basically in the game there's this verse comes up, and I didn't realize it was a Bible verse because it's from Proverbs.
Oh no, that is subtle.
As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend, which is Proverbs 27:17. This is particularly the New Living Translation, but obviously generally it means the same. And because I'd seen it in the video game, I was like literally the day before, I was like, that's interesting. And then later on that day, we Skyped, and you were talking about how you were praying to God about things and having the idea for this, and it was like interesting. Feel like this might be a message. And also underneath it was very particularly relevant to currently, where it goes, we're not wired to live in isolation. We are designed to live in communities where love and friendship flow freely, where people with peace try to strengthen and support each other every day. This is how we grow and build strong foundations in our lives, through honest friendships, accountability, challenge, shared courage, and enduring commitment.
That's very sweet. And yeah, it is quite weird how, because we're not wired as humans to live in isolation. God didn't create us solely to live in isolation. You know, he created Eve for Adam because we're supposed to be together. We shouldn't be by ourselves. And it is really interesting how that verse did speak with you in that way, and how we do have each other to rely on and speak to, and have that accountability to one another. I mean, has God spoken to you like that before through Bible verses?
Yeah, so sometimes it's things where I've been praying about something and then I, through whatever, see a verse or something, I'm like, okay, yes, that's relevant to what I was praying about. And also a particular example I can give, on the summer project in Russia, the mission trip I did in St. Petersburg, literally the first day we were out there and we were going to go out and talk to the volunteers with the Russian Football World Cup, and talk to them about faith and what their views were and things. On the Bible app, I think it was U version or whatever that's called. On a Bible app, the Bible verse of the day was the Great Commission. It was Matthew 28:19. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. And it was very relevant.
Yeah, at the World Cup.
Yeah, it was, and it's just really cool when stuff like that happens, because you're like, okay, God is definitely paying attention here. He's definitely, this isn't me just messing about doing my own things. It's definitely supposed to happen, sort of thing.
Yeah, it is really cool when stuff like that happens. I mean, I went through a period where, like, my Bible app, it would tell me a verse every day. And when we went on holiday, so it was the two of us and our friends Kate and Karis, we went to Disneyland for a week. And during that, it was really fun. And during that week, because we were in France, the network connection on my phone wasn't working, so I wasn't getting those Bible app messages. And on that last day when we were leaving, I was a little bit, how should we put it, Sian? How should we put it?
Super stressed?
Yes, just a tad bit stressed. And I always find it really funny because as soon as we got back into England, so there was a problem with the train station the previous day. There had been a suspected bomb at the train, and so they had to shut down the train station. And so a lot of people were then getting emergency trains back to the UK. I think it was a suspected bomb. That's like what the woman was saying when we were chatting with her. But yeah, so
you say we.
Yeah, it was me. I ended up, I don't know if people know this, I talk to people a lot, and whilst we were sitting there waiting at the train station, I started talking to anyone who started walking past us. And there was this woman who was also super stressed, and so I saw that and I thought, oh, she looks more stressed than me, so let's try and calm her. But what was really funny was when we got back to the UK, as soon as we got back to the UK, that day's Bible verse popped up on my phone, which was a verse from Philippians that I'm sure everyone will be familiar with, which is, do not be anxious about anything and cast your troubles to God. And it was just like, it would have been really helpful if I'd had that in the morning when I was freaking out about the room because it wasn't packed up properly, when we were still riding on the rides and we had to like try and get from one end of the park to the other, and then we kept going, I say we, you guys kept going into the shops as we were going, and I just had this image of the train leaving without us. And then I find out 6 months later that you lost your ticket.
I did not lose my tickets. It fell out of my pocket. It was immediately picked up. Let's not spread lies.
But yeah, it is just it's incredible, I think, how that was the verse of the day that I was going to have, and hadn't my phone been on that network connection, I wonder how I would have reacted that day differently. Probably not that differently. I'm working on it, God, I am, I swear.
Yeah, I think that one is a hard verse, because it's really helpful and really good if you can do it, but sometimes it's really hard. Like, it's easy to say cast your anxieties onto God because he cares for you and don't worry about anything, and it's really good to say that and it's really good to do that, but it's really hard
Definitely. Are there any other ways that like God speaks to you other than just through Bible verses, or?
Usually when I ask about things, so lots of big decisions, I will pray about it. So about what university I want to go to, and whether or not I should do the summer project mission trip thing and things like that. And usually, if it's something that I feel is right, I feel like it's because God kind of gives me peace about it.
Mm.
So I'm not going, oh, maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't do it. I'm not sure. I should do it. No, no, but what if this? What? It's more, okay, I'm going to do this. That's it. No ifs, buts, or anything. Just there's a piece about it. It's just, okay, I'm doing this. Or I'm not doing this. This isn't for me. Like it works both ways.
I'd like to have that kind of moment. I haven't had one of those. So I haven't had a moment where I've gone like, yeah, this is it. Because normally I'm fighting with every thing that I'm not great at being told what to do. And I normally always, I will surrender to God's will, but it will not be without a fight of some sort. I mean, it is just, it's really weird, I think, how he talks to each of us differently. Because I know another situation where God was telling me to do something, and he was telling me to do a specific task, and I didn't do it for a good hour. He was just constantly going at me to do it, 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 to do it. And then when I finally broke down, I was like, right, I'm doing it. It was at the exact moment that someone had asked God a question. And I think it's really cool that he knows me that well, that he does know that I will take that prodding, and it will be a prod and a prod and a prod. I'll do it, and I'll do it eventually. I probably need to learn to do it quicker, but it's all in his plan and in his time that was what is needed. And it happens a lot with other things as well. I've seen where God will tell me to do something, and I'll be like, this is such a bad idea, but I will do it. For you've told me to do this, I'll do it. It's going to go crazy, but it'll be fine, probably.
Yeah, I really like that story as well because it shows that like God knows in advance what people want and what people are going to ask for. Like he's already planned for how to answer certain things.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird, I think, because it's really weird for me to imagine like that the way that God knows me completely and knows how I work and how I function. He also knows that about everyone around me, and he can have that massive overarching plan of it and be like, right, this person's going to ask this at this point, which means I need to prod Charlie to do this an hour before so that she's there for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like why I really like hearing people's stories about how God's done things in their lives and stuff because you get stories like that and it just you can read about God knows what you want before you even want it and you can read it and go yes okay that's great but it's another thing to hear a story where that actually happens.
Mm, definitely it is, and I think it really links us as well as, sons and daughters of God, that he does have that relationship with all of us and he does know us that well, and it really is like that proof of, well, that is just mind-blowing and it's hard to get your head around at points.
Is there anything else? Or...
Don't think so. I mean, I think that is like really what it's about, isn't it? To know that God is still with us. He talks to us, really, doesn't he? And he talks to all of us individually. And during this time that we aren't able to get together, I think having these talks and reminding ourselves that God is still out there, he's still in control of everything, and what his plan is at the moment we don't know, but that's all right. And I think if we just remember, I think at the moment the verse I've got today is Deuteronomy 31:8. So the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. I think that really wraps up what we've been talking about, how, you're not so much afraid of what's going on, everything, because you feel secure in your relationship with God as you are at the moment. And we shouldn't be discouraged during this time if we remember to lift each other up and to share our personal stories. So thanks for everyone who has listened in today, and we'll see who I'm having a check-in with next time. Bye. Bye, Sian.
Bye.